All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode. Well, I guess you can say this is part two of our series on Wix tutorials, teaching you how to go into your Wix site and make changes and better manage your websites. So in the first video, we talked about getting set up with a template, getting your account started, the basics of that, Wix ADI, and a couple of other basic features. In this video, it's going to be a little bit more brief, where we talk about how to actually add features to your site, as well as adding things like anchors, editing photos, and editing text. Now, we briefly talked about this in the last video, where with your text, anytime you're in the Wix editor to make any changes to your site, anytime you move your cursor over anything without clicking on anything, you'll see that pretty much anything you move your cursor over, you can edit, or anything that you move your cursor over kind of highlights, in a sense, letting you know that, hey, this is something that you can click on so that you can be able to further edit it or further customize it to your liking. Now, what I like about Wix is that it kind of gives you free reign depending on the kind of the way that you begin your site. Usually if you work from a template, it's pretty easy to go in and customize things however you like. I know Wix ADI and a couple of other features might kind of put some barriers on that, but we're working with just a general template right now. This is one of my preferred ways to be able to edit sites and get sites started on the Wix platform. So I definitely recommend taking some time to be able to go through Wix's templates to be able to see if there might be something that can really help you to get started. You don't have to get started from scratch. I know some people feel like, you're starting a website. How do I get started? It's okay if you want to start from a template. I know most of us usually start from a template and kind of just tear it up, customize it, change things, flip things, do things however you would like. So don't feel any pressure or anything like that. But like I said, there have been some slight changes to Wix over the past couple months. So usually anytime that you are in your Wix editor, the first page that you come to when you first open the Wix editor from your dashboard is going to be the home page of your site. And as I said, when you're moving your cursor over things, you'll be able to see things highlighting. Wix is one of those website builders where they kind of operate with sections. So most of the time, most sections, most parts of your website are kind of broken up into sections. So as you can see, this first part right here, this is its own section. Usually you can see that if you look over on the right hand side or the left hand side, or sometimes it's at the bottom, where you'll see, hey, this is a section. Sometimes that section might have a name. You can go in and customize the section name if you would like. Over here on the right hand side, you'll see where you can move this section further up your site on this particular page, or further down, however you would like. So if I wanted to move this down, you can move this section down. You'll see the down arrow. If I click on that, it's going to move it down and push the other section that was underneath it up. But I'm going to put it back, so I'm going to go move section up, and it's going to put it back exactly how I had it. And again, just to reiterate, if you ever make a mistake, right here, right hand side of the screen, you'll see the undo and redo button. Anytime you make a mistake, you can always undo. So don't feel like, oh my God, my life is over, I'm not going to be able to fix this. Undo and redo can be your best friend. So no pressure there. When you are in a particular section of a particular section on a page on your website, as you're moving your cursor over, you'll see, usually if you sit your cursor over certain items, they'll highlight, and there'll be like a little information box right up here at the top left hand side that you'll see. I can't necessarily put my cursor directly on it because it'll go away, but if you have your cursor sitting over it, it'll tell you what the name of that item or particular widget might particularly be. Right here, you'll see that this image is a slideshow. If you ever want to see how these particular items function or what they might do, something that you can always do is go to right over here next to publish. You can click on preview. Preview can be your best friend because it'll, a lot of times if you're adding things like slideshows, interactive features and things like that, it'll show you how those features will work or how the changes that you just made are going to reflect on the live site. So you'll see here the images. Seems like a slower slideshow, but this is a slideshow right here. As you can see right here, this text is a little animated. You see this, the slideshow kind of is on a timer. I'll show you guys how to update that as well. So just some basic features to be able to show you as you move further down your site. You'll see the transitions bringing up the additional information that's there for you also. So yeah, so let's go, and once you're in the previewer, if you want to go back to your editor, if you're like, okay, I already see how this works, let me go back. And also you can flip in between pages as well, so make sure to keep that in mind if you want to see, kind of get a preview of how the user experience is going to look. You can always just navigate however you would like through here. So right now we're going to go back to the editor. So right up here at the top right hand side, I'm going to go to back to editor. When I go back to editor, it brings me back to the site editor, nothing else that I need to do. Again, I have this first section selected, and then say for example, I might want to change this text that's on top of this slideshow here. You'll see here that I have this section selected. All of the text, all of the text boxes, all of the particular items, features of this particular section, they're all highlighted to show you, hey, you can click on us, you can edit us, you can move us however you would like. So click and drag can be your best friend if you ever want to move something. If you're like, oh, I don't like how this text looks here, so I'm going to move explore your form. If I click on it directly, as you'll see, like we talked about in the first video, at the top there's going to be that little extra additional toolbar that pops up that allows you to further customize and further edit the item that you have selected. So here I have a text box selected, so it's going to give me the option to click on edit text, where I can be able to customize, change what's being said in this text box, or you can just double click. So, and when you double click or click into any text box, you're always going to get the text settings additional window that comes up next to it. Sometimes it'll appear on the left side, sometimes it might appear above, underneath. It's usually for the most part on the right hand side of that particular text box. Now, if you want to customize, change the font type, upload new fonts, change the font size, further change how this particular set of text might look, you will do this in the text settings box. So here you can customize. This allows you to customize the size a little bit easier, going from a header size, which is a lot larger, or going to a paragraph size, which is a lot smaller, or the easier way if you want to be really specific with the particular size that your text is. You can just kind of toggle with this the little font size toggle bar here, or you can just type into right here the box that has the number in next to it. You can be able to type in a number. If I wanted to say 12, it'll update and preview and show me what a size 12 font for this particular text is going to show. Anytime you make changes to text or certain things, usually whatever else it might be attached to is going to respond to that. So as you see, I made the text smaller. That widget box that it's in, that container box that the text is in, and moved up a tad bit. So, and you can always move it back down if you would like. Say I want to keep it at a size 12, and I wanted to say move this container box back down, closer down to the bottom of this slideshow box. Click and drag. That is the rule of thumb. Anytime you want to move something, you can move things however you would like. It's one of my favorite things about Wix. You can move it however you would like, wherever you would like in your site. So I have this container box selected. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to drag it back down. And as you'll see here, you see like the little lines here that, whoops, I don't want to move that too much. You'll see the little ruler lines here that show you if what you're moving is lining up with whatever it might be nearby, if that's something that's important to you. Or if you just wanted to move this particular text box all over the place, you can move it however or wherever you would like in your site. If you wanted to move it to a totally different section, if you wanted to move it out of this particular section that you're in, you would just scroll down a bit. I'm clicking on it and I'm dragging it down to this section. And there it is. I don't have to keep it there. It doesn't have to stay there, but that's where I wanted it. So you can move, you have free will to move things wherever you would like in your site. It's not necessarily a guarantee that it's going to look good, but you just want to keep that in mind, that especially when you're moving things, just pay attention to these lines that appear at the top or on the sides of the items. They'll tell you if what you're moving is lining up correctly with anything that it might be next to, just so that your site is staying symmetrical, it's staying on point. Nothing is too far outside of the layout. Nothing is going to be cut off when it's in mobile view or on a specific type of desktop or computer screen. So I'm going to move this back, and I got it even exactly how I would like it. All right. And then if I wanted to say change the header for this particular container box back to the larger size, I double clicked on that particular box, that particular text box. The text settings window appeared. I'm not going to toggle with the font size little thing here. I'm going to type in the size that I want, and you can always type in multiple sizes. It doesn't matter how many times that you do it. There's no limit, just to be able to see how big or small that you might want it. If you get it at 12 and you're like, I want it at 14, you can play with the this little thing here if you would like. You see as I slowly drag it a bit. And I got it back to 45. Or I could have just typed in 45 here if that's what I wanted, or whatever size option that I wanted. If I want to bold it, I can click on bold. If I want to italicize it, italicize. Pretty much in the text settings box, a lot of your typical text editing settings you're going to find there. The bold, the italicize, underline. You can change the font color. And again, before you click on things or go too click crazy, you can just really move your cursor over things and it'll tell you exactly what it is. So I'm moving my cursor over some of these icons and items because I don't necessarily know what they are. So if I put my cursor over this tells me that this button is where I can be able to change the color of this particular set of text. Or if I wanted to highlight this a particular color, the next option over is highlight. If I click on that, another window opens up where you can pick a particular color. If you have, and I'll do this on the text color option size, if you had a particular color code of a color that you wanted to add in here, say you have certain brand colors that you want to make sure that you're sticking by, if you don't edit your site design over here, remember in the first video on the left hand side right here where you see that same icon that we saw in text settings, this is where you can update your site design and set those color preferences, just to make sure that your entire site is sticking to the particular color codes that you might have in mind. When you're setting those colors, the same color picker window is going to come up. They usually always have some basic options here, some random color options, but if I want to add my own specific color code, right here where it says my colors, over here on the right hand side, if I click on add, and what you'll see here, if I have my cursor over it, it tells me exactly what I can do if I click on this option. Add colors so you can easily find and reuse them later. These colors aren't linked to your site's theme. So if you wanted these colors to be linked to your site's theme, then you would need to go over to your site design area and make sure you set those particular colors and color codes how you want them. But if I just go to add here, here's where I can be able to put in that particular color code of whatever I wanted. I would enter it here, and then you would just hit enter and then apply. and then it'll right under my colors, it'll show up under here. And then that way, anytime you move to another section or another item or container box or a piece of text, you can be able to update it to that particular color. Sometimes you might have to go back and add it a few times, because sometimes it might not catch up, like, hey, this is something I want to save, or it might be already too many colors already added. So just keep that in mind. So I'm done changing the color. So I'm going to, in this color picker window, I'm going to click on the X in the right hand side of the corner. And then again, anytime that you are making changes, anytime that you are making tweaks, updating things to your site, Wix is really good about auto saving things, but I always like to click on publish just to be sure. It's going to save these changes. It's going to save these changes again, and also make sure that any of these changes, they're reflected on your website also. Even if it's not like a change that you're planning on keeping, you can click on publish 1,000 times while you're in here. It doesn't really matter. There's no limit or anything to it. So just keep that in mind. Not, oh, I've already pressed publish so many times. It's okay. I use publish like a save button. So I definitely encourage anyone going through it to be able to do the same. So I got my confirmation that the site is published. So right here in the bottom right hand side, I'm going to click on done, or I can click on the X in the top right hand side. And that's really how you edit text in Wix in the site editor. The same goes for any paragraphs or anything like that you see. This text box right under it, if I double clicked on it, same thing. The text settings box moves over onto this side. I can change the font here however I would like. I can change the font size, the font color. Here you can align it however you would like. You can add special, and these options are available for any kind of text. You can set any specific effects to this particular text, and again, if you move your cursor over things, it'll tell you what something is. So no worries there. Once you're done making those particular changes, you can click on the X in the top right hand corner of this particular window. Oh no, I don't like this font. I want to put it back to the original font that it was before, but I don't remember the name of that particular font. Right hand side, my best buddies over here, undo and redo. I'm going to click on undo. It puts it right back to the original font that I had before. And I'm going to click on publish, aka save, to be able to make sure that particular change is reflecting correctly on the site how I want it to. Alright, so that is updating text. If you ever want to add a text window, what you can always do, you can always, what you can do is right click, or if you have like a particular text box, if you want to add a new set of text somewhere on the site, you can either duplicate a text box, or I'll show you guys also how to add an additional text box. So if I right click on this particular box right here, another little box is going to come up where it's going to give me some options where you can cut it, delete this whole box, copy it, paste it, delete it, all that fun stuff. If I wanted it to show on all of the pages in this particular spot on my site, I can set it like that. But for right now, I'm just going to click on duplicate, and that duplicated that text box for me. So here it is. I have it, and I'm just moving it around however I like, because this is my site. I can do whatever I want. I'm going to leave it right there. Now, if you also wanted to, and you can duplicate, as many times as you like, or if you wanted to do the traditional copy and paste, that's always an option as well. And then I want to show you guys something. If I move text outside of my particular layout, usually you'll get a warning somewhere down here on the bottom right hand side or the bottom left hand side or the bottom right hand side, it might tell you, hey, this particular item that you just moved, you moved it outside of the standard view, meaning this particular item might get cut off when someone is trying to view this site on a mobile or desktop view, or hey, this is kind of, you know, in an area where you might not necessarily want it, and it's just kind of a warning bringing it to your attention. If you want that item to stay there, you can totally ignore it, but it's good to be able to catch those warnings, you know, if you know you needed that kind of information to know for future reference. Now I want to I'm also going to show you guys how to add a text box. So like we talked about before, on the left hand side, first option where you see the plus sign and a circle, if I put my cursor over it, it says add elements. This is where you can add things to your site. If I click on add elements, for over here on the left side, it shows you all of the elements that you can add to your site. So text, images, buttons, strips, decorative features, boxes, galleries, all that fun stuff you have here at your fingertips. You're welcome to at any time to click through some of these and see what options are there. You can always add things. Usually if you click on something and drag it over to the editor, then it'll be added onto there. But if you just click on it once, for the most part, it'll move itself over into the site editor for you. But I'm going to be adding text, so I'm going to make sure that the first option, text, is selected, and then you'll see here in this middle section right here, it'll usually give you some additional options as far as other options available to you. So theme text, titles, paragraphs, all of these options are here for you. And even apps as well, so text apps. So if I wanted to add a header text, something, theme text is usually if you've already set up your particular fonts and things like that you want for your site in the site design. These pre-made themed texts will show up here, where these already have your set fonts and font sizes already kind of built into there. Alright, so I'm going to just add I'm just going to add a regular paragraph. So if I click and drag this over, I can just drop it anywhere, and there you go. There's my text box, exactly where I want it. I can double click in it if I want to be able to customize it. The text settings box opens up. If I wanted to change the font, I can change it. If I wanted to change the size of the color, I can change that. And as you can see, again, moving your cursor, selecting things, it gives you options as far as being able to customize the text however you would like. So there's really no, and that's one of the things that I like about Wix, there's really no set limitations or anything like that when it comes to the lengths that it'll allow you to go to customize any particular part or feature of your site. All right, and that is text, editing your site text. So if I wanted to edit an image, all right, so we're going to work with, we have a slideshow here, so we're going to work with this, but I'm also going to show you guys how to add an image to your site, you know, however you would like. And again, just like how I said, I just randomly moved this text box over here, but I can place it anywhere that I would like, anywhere that's going to fit and work best for. And then you'll see here you dragged an element outside of the grid lines. Some of your visitors won't see it. You can click on learn more here if you want to understand a little bit more about what that means. Wix has tons of help pages and a lot of really cool additional features here to be able to further educate you, so that whatever changes you're making the correct amount of changes and right kind of changes for your site. And also so that your site visitors are getting the best kind of experience, because you don't want to put very important information in this text box and then it's hanging out or you know, beyond your grid lines and beyond the layout, and someone's visiting your site and it has important information on it and they can't see it or they can't read it or they don't even know that it's there. So real quick, I'm going to show you guys how to add an image. So if I wanted to just add an image to my site, I'm going to go back to add elements. right under text is image. Right here, if you're uploading an image to your site, like if you have an image that you want used, something that you already haven't uploaded, there are tons of free images that Wix offers, and you can scroll down and see that. But I'm going to upload an image, so I'm going to click on upload and import, upload images. When I click on that, the media files window is going to come up, and it's going to give me that option prompting me to either import my image from wherever it may be, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff, or if I want to just upload it directly from the device that I'm on, you can just drag and drop it into this particular box, or you can upload it from computer. I'm going to exit out of that just because we don't need to upload anything. Let's see. Let's just upload a random image for right now. And this is just a random image that I'm uploading to my site. All right, it's confirmed for me that it's uploaded to my site files. If you ever need to edit an image, you can edit the image directly in Wix. You don't necessarily have to use one of your image editor apps or anything like that. You can, if you would like, if there's a certain way that you want to edit it, but you can also directly edit it here in Wix also. So if I wanted to edit that, you'll see over here I have the image selected. On the right hand side, there's a preview of it showing the particular image's file name, and then it gives me actions as far as things that I can do with it. So I can crop and edit it, I can adjust it, add filters to it, I can create a video with this image and others if I wanted to do that, or if I wanted to cut out the background, I could do that also. But we don't need to make any changes to it. All that's going to happen if you click on one of these is another window is going to open up where you'll be able to make those changes and customize further. But right now I'm just going to go ahead and add this image to my page. So I have the image that I want selected. Bottom right hand side, I'm going to click on add to page. And there's my image. Please make sure that when you're adding or uploading images, that you're uploading images that are high resolution. I tend to recommend that people stay away from cell phone images that may come off blurry or low resolution, or may not send the right kind of message that you want to send to a site visitor as far as the quality or what they can expect from your brand or your business. And as you can see, I have this image selected. So if I wanted to edit it or do anything to it, you'll see right here that secondary toolbar that I told you guys about. It'll appear. It's right here at the top. If I wanted to change this image to a different image, I can just click on change image. My media files window is going to pop up where I can upload another image, choose a free image from Wix or however I want to do it, and it'll basically just swap that image out on the site once I click on choose image. All right, and again, just like with the text, I'm moving this all around. You can move this image wherever you would like. You can also resize it. You'll see in each of the corners there's a little dot that shows you that you can resize this image. So if I wanted to make it smaller, I can make it smaller. If I wanted to make it really big, I can make it really big. I'm going to select this right now and I'm going to delete it. If I want to delete this image, I'm just going to click on backspace or delete on my keyboard. I have it selected. Delete. And that's that. Or if you wanted to right click and click on cut or delete, you could have done that as well also. All right, and I'm going to make sure I click on publish just to save my work. All right, I've got my confirmation, and now I'm free to move on to making any other change that I would like to make. I'm going to go ahead and delete these additional text boxes also. And there you go. Now, before we wrap up, I want to make sure I show you guys slideshows. So this right here is a slideshow. Sometimes slideshows, they don't necessarily, when you're moving your cursor over things, that I really encourage people to do that, just so you'll kind of know what something is and not necessarily have to guess. So this right here, I have my cursor sitting over it. It tells me that this is a slideshow. If I select it, you'll see that text window, the additional toolbar that comes up at the top, where I can manage the slides, and the slides are just the images that are in your particular slideshow. You can change the slide background, like say for example, if the images don't necessarily take up the entire slideshow window, how these images do, you can change the background to be a certain color if you would like for it to be. You can also, and as you, when you get these, when you select something, if you want to know what these additional options are, you can always click on them if, or move your cursor over them, and it'll tell you exactly what it is. So this is settings, layout. Layout allows you to be able to, if you have certain interactive features or tools on, or widgets on Wix, if you get this layout option, it'll allow you to be able to switch it to a different layout style that you might be interested in. If I click on layout, another window here is going to show, and it'll give you some options to be able to hide your navigation arrows, fun stuff like that, to be able to customize again however you would like for the slideshow to appear. But if I want to just change up some of my images that are in the slideshow, I'm going to click on manage slides. So when I click on manage slides here on the left hand side, again, this is similar to the text settings window. It may appear on the left side, right side, underneath, just all kind of depends on where you're at in your site browser, in your site editor, I mean. So this shows me if you select these, and then right here, as I have the slideshow selected, it shows you the option at the top, or sometimes it might appear at the bottom, where you can flip through the images that are in the slideshow currently. So right now, this is slide one of two. If I clicked on that, it shows me the next image. And then also, when you have the manage slides a window open, if I just click on the name, it'll show me what the image is, or what image that correlates to. Now, if I wanted to add more slides or add more images, right here towards the bottom, you can duplicate a site and swap out the picture, or you could click on add new slide. When I click on add new slide and click on these three little dots here, you can rename this to be anything in particular. Or if I click on this and I want to change this particular image on this particular slide, I'm going to go to change slide background. Change slide background pulls up another window. And you can always click and drag these windows if you want to move it up a little bit more also. It shows you, kind of gives you a little small preview here of the image that's in this particular window. If I wanted to change this slide over to a different color, or if I wanted it to be a video, or if I wanted it to be another image, you would just click on one of the three options here. Or if you slide down here, these are just some free images and free videos that they have available that you can also, you also have the option of using as well. And these are all free, so you don't have to worry about copyright or anything like that, or Wix or anybody coming to sue you. All right, so if I clicked on image, again, pulls up the media files window. On the left hand side, I'm going to go to site files. And then I'm going to add, say, this particular image that I already have uploaded to the site. And so once I have the image selected, bottom right hand side, I'm going to click on change background. And then it updates it to however I want it to look. All right. And then once I've already updated that image to however I would like, all you have to do is just click on the top right hand corner, exit out of that. You can click on manage slides again if you want to reorder Click and drag if you want to reorder how these images appear. Totally up to you. Or if you said, I don't really like this image in the slideshow anymore, I just want to delete it. So I'm going to click on the 3 little dots right here towards the right side, and I just click on delete. And that's it. Again, we're going to go to the top right hand side and click on publish. And there you go. Now, so we've talked about how to add images and add updating and making changes to images and text, as well as adding them. So I think that's all we're going to get into for this part of our series today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. And we hope to see you and hope that you'll tune in for our next video. The next one, we're going to be getting into buttons. We're going to be talking about adding buttons to your site, as well as updating your site navigation, which is typically at the top. Some sites do have navigation at the bottom as well. We're going to get into that. And then also adding buttons for people to navigate to certain parts of your site, or link to certain things on your site that you might want them to go to. All right, so thanks guys for tuning in for another video, and we'll catch you next time.